What's going on, everybody? My name is jMils, and today we're going to be tier listing all of the diamonds in MLB The Show Diamond Dynasty, position by position. Inning 3 XP path just dropped, just to give some context on where we are in the overall game cycle. And I'm going to go through showing all the attributes of the cards and explaining my rankings so you can understand my mindset as I'm evaluating these cards. But before we get into that, I'd like to give a big shout out to ShowZone, the sponsor of today's video. And in fact, I'm actually using their website to make this tier list for you guys today. ShowZone is my favorite Diamond Dynasty companion tool. I've been using it for years now. They have plenty of tools like a collection tracker, something that shows you the best cards to flip, a team builder, roster update predictor, and more. And if you use the link on screen right now, and it'll also be in the description if that's easier, you'll get 10% off your membership. So sign up, level up your Diamond Dynasty game today with ShowZone. Now, back to the tier listing, starting with, naturally, the starting pitchers. So I'm going to show you guys the attributes of these cards as I'm tier listing them, and then we'll flip back to the full screen view at the end to show the final tier list. So starting off with Outlier, he's overall actually a super solid card. The underlying attributes look a little bit suspect. 51 walks per 9, 72 pitch control are going to give him some pretty large pars, but with his arm slot and the way his pitches move, he is honestly disgusting. He is only an 86 though, so I'm gonna put him in the A tier, and overall will be very viable in all levels of the game. Next up is Andrew Painter. Unfortunately, he's got pretty much a generic mix here with four seam, circle change, slider, and curveball. So while he has pretty solid per nines, he's gonna be pretty readable and not really deceptive. So for me, he's more of a C tier pitcher. Next up is Andy Cooper. Solid pitch mix, very similar per nines to Andrew Painter, and that is going to earn him a spot in B tier. Be able to sequence really well with that sinker, changeup, and slurve. As well, you mix in that four seam every now and then. His velo is a little low, so I can't put him up in the A tier, but he's got a really solid pitch mix, and he'll do well for you, especially since you get him for free just from playing storylines. Next pitcher on our list is Andy Pettit. Again, in that 80 hits per 9 range, higher walks per 9, and low velo, so he's really going to dot. You'll be able to locate really well with him. Sinker, cutter, changeup, and four seam are really a must, to be honest, unless you've got like a slurve and a slider, and the four seam's kind of interchangeable with a few other pitches. But the sinker, changeup, and cutter are essential. He's gonna dot for you and locate really well. He's got a bit of a funky arm slot, so he's gonna be pretty deceptive. The only issue is he comes from Battle Royale, and he's kind of pricey for what he is. He's not even the current Battle Royale card, so you'd have to get him out of the Rewind pack, so it's kind of tough. It is kind of tough. So I would put him in A tier, but he's not a card I expect a lot of people to really use, even though he's solid. But if you have him, he's definitely worth giving a start to. Next up is this Bailey Ober who came out today, and while he gets his hits per 9 up into the 90s, unfortunately his pitch mix won't be all that deceptive. Everything breaks either down or away glove side for him, and eventually that's pretty easy to pick up on, especially with 60 velo. So he's only throwing 92. While he'll be able to locate it really well with that walks per 9 and control and low velocity, it's gonna get pretty readable. So once your opponents get used to the fact he's 6'9" and throwing from a bit of a high arm angle, he is going to start to get lit up. So even though he's a 91, I'm going to put him down in D tier. Now we have Blake Snell. And as you notice, I actually have some parallels with this card. Don't mistake that for him actually being any good. He got lit up. I only used him because I did the Dodgers collection first, and yeah, I didn't really have any other pitching. So he's got another pretty generic mix. He does have a bit of a funky arm slot, but with 4 pitches, again, all moving glove side, your opponents are going to begin to just pick up on what he's throwing pretty easily. So I would avoid Blake Snell like the plague and put him all the way down into D tier with Bailey Ober. Next up is Bob Gibson, and unfortunately this card's really disappointing. He only has 97 velo, and what made Bob Gibson really dominant in previous games was 99 velo and Outlier. With his arm slot, it gets a little deceptive and hard to catch up to when he has Outlier, but at 97 velo, he's not going to get it. So he's not going to be the Bob Gibson getting it up there to 102, 103, 104 like we're used to from the last 2 years. So unfortunately, he's just not the card everyone thought he would be. Despite the high per 9s, he is going to be another C tier card. Next up, we've got Logan Webb, and this is a guy I actually really like. He's got primary sinker, a cutter, four seam, changeup, Got a mix that I definitely like. I do, again, wish that curveball was a slurve. They just did it for Gagne. I don't know why they can't do it for other people, but I digress. His per 9 are a little shaky, but he is going to locate really well with that low velo, and you're going to be able to really sequence well with those various pitches. So I am actually going to put him in A tier as well. If you haven't given Brandon Webb a shot, he is very cheap as of this video. So easy to pick up for a nice spot start, and honestly, I think he'll do pretty well for you. Now we've got Bubba Chandler. Again, another one of the more generic pitch mixes. He does have 91 hits per 9 going for him, which is pretty nice. So that will save him from D tier, but unfortunately only as high as C tier. With his fellow pipeline brother, Andrew Painter, he's just going to be a pretty generic card and unfortunately not going to do all that well for you in the long run. Now we have CC Sabathia, and CC cards are actually pretty disgusting. He's got a bit of a weird release. It's, you know, that 3/4 arm slot that we all know and love from CC Sabathia. But unfortunately, he's actually got a really long delivery. So despite him having sinker, slider, circle change, and four seam, arguably one of the best pitch mixes in the game, a funky arm slot, ability to dot with high walks per 9, good control, lowish velo, I just can't put him anywhere other than F tier. And here's why. You have to do an entire diamond quest to get this card. Now, you do need that diamond quest unless you're going to skip the 20th anniversary series to get Scott rolling. But it's an entire 4, 5, 6 inning diamond quest just to get this 87 overall when there are better pitchers in the game at quick sell value. So I wouldn't sink your time into the diamond quest for that. If you have CC, he's not terrible, but low hits per 9, low K per 9, really low pitching clutch, and just an unbearably long windup, combined with the fact you have to do a diamond quest to get him. I can't put him below F tier, above F tier. Yankee legend, I love him. I'm sorry, but he's got to be down there. Now we have Chase Burns, another generic pitch mix merchant. That being said, he's actually slightly funky with his release. I don't know what it is. It doesn't look that crazy, but I faced him a few times in ranked, and it's thrown me off a little bit for like 2 innings. And then I pick it up and just start to destroy baseballs everywhere. So I would not recommend using him. He is effectively free. You just play a diamond quest. He's not even one of the elite rewards. He's just the standard reward at the stadium. So he is very, very easy to acquire from the pipeline diamond quest. Ultimately, given all of this, I really can't put him above D tier. Next up is Chase Dollander, a day 1 legend for me. Get him from the spring breakout program, and he was honestly a solid starter for me as I was making my initial ranked climb. 2.79 ERA. He unfortunately just got power crept out by better cards as the game progressed. That being said, I think he is somewhere between low A and high B. Just given the cards that are coming, I'm going to put him into high B tier for now, but he could move up or down. He's not bad. He is free. Might be worth giving a shot to if you're just starting out, but overall, a really solid card. I really enjoyed pitching with him. I would love a high overall Dollander later in the game. Next up, 5 Series Chris Sale. You either love him or you hate him. There's going to be no in between. It's got a solid 4 pitch mix. I prefer 5, but if you're going to have 4, these are a good 4. Throws crossbody, really hard to pick up, but once your opponents do, they will begin to shell him because the 4 pitches begin to get a little repetitive. So if you're really good at locating and sequencing your pitches, he could be pretty solid for you. I am going to put him in B tier though, down here with Dollander. I like Dollander a little bit better, but both overall pretty serviceable cards. Now we've got Clay Buchholz. He's actually got a really solid mix. I do wish that curveball was a slurve, but I digress. Really high pitching clutch, which is huge. Genuinely huge. That pitching clutch is disgusting. 114, way ahead of the pace for the rest of the power creep right now. Probably one of his best attributes. He sequences really well. I have a hard time picking up his release, to be honest, so I definitely recommend giving him a shot. He's pretty deceptive to me, so if I have a hard time hitting him, you'll probably have a hard time hitting him. So will your opponents, so I'd give him a shot. He's going in A tier just because the rest of his stats are a little lower, but I put him somewhere between Pettit and Webb for now. Next up, we have this 85 overall Clayton Kershaw from one of the pre-order packs. He is overall really solid. Kershaw, the last 2 years, has been really hard to read because he looks like one of those inflatable tube guys you see at a car dealership when he's pitching, where they're just like flopping their body all over the place, and it's really hard to hit. He's gonna be better on some of the higher difficulties because his per nines are a little lower, but if you're on Hall of Fame, maybe Legend or GOAT, he's gonna be pretty good. One downside to Kershaw right now, he's really expensive because he was in that pre-order pack and we haven't gotten any of those since the last flash sale, and you need him if you want rolling. So yeah, if you have him, that's great. He's awesome. Give him a shot. Put him in A tier. But if you don't have him, he's not worth 40K. Now we have Corbin Burns. If you've played MLB The Show at any point in the last 5 years, you know what Corbin Burns cards are like. They all play the same. He's going to be really deceptive to a lot of people, so I can't knock him down too far. Amongst the highest of difficulties against the best competition, there is a bit of Corbin Burns fatigue, if you will, where we're all so used to his arm slot and how his pitches break that he's getting pretty easy to hit at this point. But against 99% of the player base, he'll be fine. I just never used him because I know most of my opponents will absolutely tee off on him, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't give him a shot. Another A tier pitcher in my opinion. Now we have Corey Kluber. He was the first Weekend Classic pack reward. Very solid card. This is gonna be a bit of a hot take. I'm putting him in S tier. I know his windup's different, but he locates well, and honestly, he is one of the better pitchers in the game. He's got sinker, cutter, slurve, four seam, circle change. That is the pitch mix I want to see. You could swap the slurve for a sweeper, but that general pitch mix is really what I love. He is going to fool a lot of people. So if you don't have Kluber, he's really cheap. I'd give him a shot. Next up is Don Sutton. Not really a name you'd associate with a meta pitcher, but honestly, he can spot pretty well. And if you are really good at sequencing your pitches and really keeping opponents off balance, I'd say he'll do pretty well for you. So he's another A tier pitcher for me, to be honest. I've always loved Sutton cards. Probably put him above this Kershaw, to be honest. He's a fun pitcher to use with that screwball. So I'd give him a shot. Maybe he gets lit up, maybe he doesn't, but he's a fun, solid pitcher. Now we got Big Red, Dustin May, 6'6" fireballer, incredible pitching clutch, the meta pitch mix. I mean, what is there not to love about him? He's got outlier on that sinker. He's got everything you need. It's per 986. Yeah, sure, it's a little low. But with his arm slot, it's another 3/4 one where it looks like he's literally throwing baseballs like they're frisbees. You're going to decimate your opponents, and he is going to lead S tier for us for now. Speaking of fireballing sinker throwers, we've got Edward Cabrera, the demon of MLB 21. Now, unfortunately, this is not the Edward Cabrera from MLB 21. It does not have primary outlier sinker. He's primary changeup. And while he's got a pretty solid pitch mix, he unfortunately is not nearly as deceptive as he used to be. So without that outlier sinker and without MLB 20 Corey Kluber's pitch mix, unfortunately, he's just not the same pitcher that we are also afraid of. And he is going to fall into C tier. Next up is Fernando Valenzuela. This card is basically only usable on Legend and GOAT. But if you use him on Legend and GOAT, he's not terrible. I faced some really good players with him, so he got touched up a little bit, but he's not terrible. Screwball, the way it breaks is just really tough to track on Legend and GOAT, but anything below that, I wouldn't really touch it. So this tier ranking is because of Legend and GOAT. If you're not playing up there, definitely throw him more towards D tier, but I'm gonna put him in A. Next up, we have Topps Now Garrett Crochet, and he's got the mix. Overall, real solid card, but unfortunately his per 9 are just a little low. And here's the thing, his live series card is better. So I'd put his live series up in A tier, but the Topps Now needs to go in like F tier because it's just completely outclassed by its lower overall live series. This is an 85 compared to the Topps Now, that's an 87. So we're gonna put the Topps Now all the way down here in F tier, and I'd put the live series up here in A tier. And with how he's pitching, that 85 could quickly surpass that 87. So live series in A tier, Topps Now in F tier. Not S tier, F tier. Redacted Lord Perry. He's got a pretty solid pitch mix, actually. Don't love the curveball, but it's slow enough that it might actually work for you. Solid per 9s, sinker, slider, forkball. four seam. I like it. Unfortunately, he's actually a little readable and apparently tips his pitches. I haven't seen it, but I've heard from a lot of people that he does. So I'm gonna have to put him into B tier, unfortunately. But overall, he's a pretty solid card. Definitely towards the top of B tier, I'd say. Maybe behind Olander. Now we have live series George Kirby, part of the Mariners' army of disgusting pitching. Unfortunately, in this game, his hits in K per 9 are just too low to be usable. He's got the ability to spot pretty well with that walks per 9, really high velo, solid break, but 71 to 57 hits in K per 9 are just not gonna play at this point here. So despite the pitch mix and all that, he is gonna fall squarely into C tier. Garrett Cole, I'm a Yankee fan. This card's F tier. Secondary pitches is knuckle curve. I don't really need to say much else. He's not great. Greg Maddux, Cubs collection card. He throws below the speed limit and he can locate pitches well. Unfortunately, that doesn't really help you all that much in this game because the PCI is not a bat. So you can still get it anywhere you want. And he throws a bit too slow to be deceptive in my opinion. So I am going to have to throw him into B tier. If you're playing somebody who maybe gets overwhelmed a little bit by velocity, he's actually going to work pretty well for you. But anyone who can touch Outlier can also touch Greg Maddux. And that's not really what you want out of a slower throwing pitcher. Gunnar Hoglund, solid pitch mix, solid per 9s. Overall, really not a bad card. I would put him in high B, maybe even low A. I think he could be like a slightly better Dollander, if we're being honest. So we're gonna put him in B tier. Hagen Smith, this card is gonna go in F tier purely because I pull him way too much out of standard packs and it kills me every single time. The fact he's in the game causes me pain. I'm sorry, Hagen, if you're watching this, but it just causes me pain because of how often I pull him out of standard packs. That being said, if his two seam was a sinker, he might actually be pretty good. So if we get a better Hagen later in the year, maybe he'll play a little better than this. But for now, with that pitch mix and the fact that he just terrorizes my standard packs, I can't put him above F tier. Maybe he deserves to be in D or C, but it's kind of readable, no sinker. Hilton Smith, he's kind of deceptive, but unfortunately with the primary curveball, you can only use it for so long before batters begin to pick up on how that drops, and you're just gonna get lit up, especially with the lower hits in K per 9. And foul off a lot of pitches, and yeah. He's not going to be the best. So he's going to be another C tier pitcher for us. His main purpose in this game, unfortunately, is just collection fodder for John Donaldson. Hunter Green, he's got some solid per 9s going for him. 96 hits per 9, 100-run pitching clutch, but he's got a pretty generic mix. Really wish they'd give him even just a two seam, change up something, but he just, as is a little too easy to read given the pitches he throws. It can only move so many ways. At you, down, or left. Well, from his perspective, left. Right from your perspective. So for me, he's gonna be C tier. Jackson Joe, overall not really that bad of a card. He's got high hits per 9 and pitching clutch. His release isn't terrible. I'd be inclined to actually put up in high B tier. It's really hard to put somebody into A or S without a sinker or an outlier fastball, but I put him high B tier. I think he's worth a shot. Now, if it wasn't obvious from my parallels, Jacob deGrom is definitely gonna be S tier. I've got him P4. He's disgusting. He has outlier, which on Rangers deGrom is crazy, considering he's got UCLs made of roast beef at this point, but he's disgusting. You really need him if you don't already have him. So into S tier he goes. Now live series deGrom, on the other hand, different story, different pitch mix, doesn't throw as hard, no outlier, lower hits per 9. This is a D tier card. While he's still got his release, that's about all he's got going for him. Jake Arrieta has terrorized many people in this game this year. He was given out for free in the first XP path if you didn't play until the second or third XP path. Unfortunately, there isn't no other way to acquire him in the game right now, but honestly, he's really solid. He's missing a cutter, and his K per 9's a little bit low. I find it tough to get strikeouts with him from time to time, but overall, really a solid card. Another card I'd consider high A tier. Actually, I'm gonna put him low S tier, above Outlier and below Kluber. Jeffrey Springs, overall, it's a pretty solid looking card until you get over to the right and see his 50 velocity. So without a meta pitch like a sinker, he unfortunately just isn't really gonna get the job done. Everything moves glove side and is just not going to fool your opponents, especially with it coming in below the speed limit. So to D tier he goes. Jim Cat, leave it in the comments. I have no idea. Overall, pretty solid card. Good pitch mix, serviceable per 9s. Another good B tier arm. Unfortunately, that pitching clutch is actually lower than I thought it was, so we're gonna put him in C tier. That's really gonna hurt you with runners on base, but otherwise pretty solid. Maybe a higher overall gym is gonna play a lot higher, but with that pitching clutch, he's gonna be relegated down to C tier. Next up is Cakes. This is not Jim Palmer. This is Cakes. That was his Incognito series card name and is what I will be calling him. This is a really good card. I would argue it's an S tier card. I'm gonna get some hate for that, but I think Jim Palmer is an S tier card. His pitch release is just weird enough that it's gonna throw people off. His velocity is high enough that it works. Got a sinker, slider, changeup, four seam, and a really slow curveball that might actually play well for you on Legend and Goat. I don't love curveballs, but really slow curveballs on Goat could actually work. So we're putting Cakes up in S tier. Joe Boyle, he's in the game because you can make an egg pun with his name, but he's horrible. He's F tier. Next, Joe Musgrove. Different story, 5-pitch mix. Fortunately, they didn't give him a sinker on this card. So since he has 66 velocity, he's gonna be C tier. He's got a decent release, and man, I used to love Joe Musgrove cards, but with this pitch mix, and it just hurts. It just hurts my soul. I like Joe Musgrove cards, but this one just isn't it. I hope we get a better one later in the year. Maybe his no-hitter card back, I don't know. Johan Santana. Mets collection. Now, he's solid, but he's got 4 pitches, and for whatever reason, I'm finding him really easy to read this year. So it's like he short arms it. It's hard to explain, but I find it really easy just to pick up where all his pitches are going. So I can only put him as high as B tier. He's a solid pitcher, but he's just gonna get touched up as we get further and further in the power creep. So I definitely wouldn't go do the Mets collection for him. I would do the Mets collection, but I wouldn't do it just for him. I would do it for Beltran. Now we have John Donaldson, and yeah, he's got that outlier slider, which everyone is terrified of. Also an outlier 4-seam as well, in case you weren't puckered enough. He's a collection card. He's hard to get, but he is one of the best pitchers in the game. So he's an instant S tier. There's really not much to say. John Donaldson's always disgusting. Just, if you don't have him, get him. Next up is Johnny Cueto. Nice meta pitch mix. Got a good release that's kind of funky. He has dreads, so the game lags, which will actually play in your favor. So he's worth using. In my opinion, he's another low S tier pitcher. Jordan Zimmerman, the NL East collection no-hitter card from 2014. He did not strike a lot of people out, and that is very reflective of how his card plays in game with that 65 Ks per 9. So pretty good. Unfortunately, he was one of the first collection cards out of my rotation, but he is pretty good. I'd say he's like my 6th starter, maybe 7th now. But overall, pretty solid card. Jose Mendez, nice two-way player. Unfortunately, since he's a two-way player who's an 86, his stats are just a bit too low. Really, this is like a gold card. So while his positional versatility is nice, he's not really good at much of anything because he is such a low overall card. So he's going to have to go down into F tier. Justin Verlander. This is unfortunately not the kind of Verlander that we'd all be afraid of, like Tigers Verlander. So he's okay, but nothing to write home about. I'd say he's really just a D tier pitcher. We get a Tigers Verlander later in the year though, which I am sure we will because we always do. It'll be a different story. Kerry Wood. He doesn't have the one thing that makes him really good, and that's outlier. They instead gave him 114 pitching clutch. So since he does not throw 102 miles an hour, he's actually pretty easy to catch up to. So he is going to be another D tier pitcher. Chris Bubic. Bubic? I think it's Bubic. He's got really solid per 9s and a really funky lefty release. He doesn't throw that fast, but he throws fast enough to get the job done. So I really like this card. For me, he's an S tier pitcher. If you're on All-Star, maybe bump him down to like B tier, but for me, he is an S tier pitcher. Leon Day, another two-way player from the Negro Leagues series. His hits per 9 are actually pretty serviceable, and honestly, I wouldn't hate using him for a spot start, but he definitely is outclassed by other 87s and even 86s and 85s like Garrett Crochet's live series. So I can't really justify using him, even though it's a cool card. Maybe his 99 later in the year will be better, but for me, he's going to be down in C tier. Logan Evans, 86 overall with 86 hits per 9. A very solid card. Sinker, cutter, sweeper, circle change, and slurve. Got all the pitches you need. Everything's going to break in all different directions. Very solid card. I would put him up in A tier. Logan Gilbert, he's actually a grade 87. He's got a really weird arm slot and is really tough to pick up. But the problem is he has 63 pitching clutch. So you get a runner on second or third, and all of a sudden you're going to hit a home run. Now, that'll take the runner off the bases, but then you get another runner onto second and you hit another home run. The PCI just gets gigantic with runners in scoring position. So unfortunately, I've got to put him in C tier, even though he's got a great arm slot. He just doesn't get it done. It's unfortunate. Maybe later in the year he'll be better, because that arm slot is really glitchy. So we're gonna put him in C tier. Logan Henderson, generic mix, slow velocity. He's just gonna be another F tier pitcher, unfortunately. Not really much to say. Logan Webb, they gave him his cutter back. He's got a sweeper, four seam, and a circle change. This card's disgusting. He would be a great spot starter for me if I need one. I just haven't had the opportunity yet, but Logan Webb card's always great when he has a cutter, so he actually sneaks his way into S tier. Mackenzie Gore, I've used him a lot on the alt account, not as much on my main, but he is pretty solid. He's got the Tigers Verlander mix, and he's a lefty. He's tall enough, and honestly, he just kind of works. I'm putting him in A tier, which I know is going to be a little controversial because he doesn't have a sinker, but put him up there with Brandon Webb. Solid card. Next up, we have the Tahigos. Another solid card. I actually don't use him as a pitcher, though. He's on my bench because of his positional versatility. But overall, he is really a solid card. I do throw him in co-op just because it's fun. That is where he's gotten his parallels from. But he is deceptive. It works pretty well in co-op, especially with that little bit of lag. But he's got just too low a per nines to really crack a rotation. So for me, he's gonna sit in A tier. Matt Cain, he's in the XP path, and he is, according to the game, the fourth best pitcher in the game. I really loved his perfect game card from back in 23, I want to say. Really a solid card. This card definitely has more than serviceable hits per nine and clutch. Velo is fast enough. Walks per nine is going to allow him to dot. That K per nine might be a little suspect, but given everything, including the pitch mix, the stamina, he's gonna crack S tier. I'm not sure if he's gonna crack my rotation yet because I haven't been able to unlock him, but he's definitely worth giving a start to because he's one of the best pitchers in the game. Matthew Liberatore. I own him because I wanted Carlos Santana, but honestly, he's actually a really good pitcher. Primary sliders are nice. Pars are a little bigger when you have 99 velocity, but he is really nice. You're gonna locate pretty well with him, and sliders are always a fun pitch in this game. Maybe that'll be a topic for another video one day. Solid per nines, great mix. Honestly, it's the meta mix. I was caught off guard by the fact it was slider primary, but it's the meta mix, so I'd give him a shot. He is gonna crack the S tier for me. Maximilian Fried, solid card. Serviceable per nines. K9's a little suspect, but pretty serviceable. Wish he had a cutter instead of a curveball. That would make me happy, but obviously he has his signature curveball, so you can't get rid of that. Maybe in future when he gets 6 pitches, if MLB The Show ever figures out how to do that, that'd be cool. But yeah, he's unfortunately being B tier. There's nothing to really tunnel too well with him, so he's going into B tier for me. Solid card, but there's just better. Max Meyer, really solid mix. Unfortunately, he's got 69 hits per nine, and that's just not gonna play, sadly. So, another D tier pitcher. Max Scherzer. Look into his eyes. Deep into his eyes. Look into his eyes, and you will see that they are 2 different colors, and it is terrifying. This card's really good. If you know how to sequence with a Scherzer card, he's honestly disgusting. Really high hits per nine. He's gonna locate really well because he's got low velo. I've been carved by this card many times. So give him a shot. You got to really get stuff in on lefties, breaking away from righties. It works. You just have to be persistent. He's a really good card. I'm putting him in A tier. Last Ride Messina. He's got the mix for the most part. Knuckle curve over a 4-seam does kind of work. It's okay. But unfortunately, his per nines are just too low. Specifically, the hits in K per nine. Walks per nine is really cool, actually. He's going to dot, but he's just going to be hit because he throws too slow with his hits per nine. So, yeah, sadly, he's going to be another B tier pitcher. Makes me sad my Yankee legends are not that good right now, but it's okay. It's okay. We'll get the good ones later in the year. Nick Pivetta, solid arm. Everything is glove side run, though. So he is only going to be an A tier pitcher. Really good per nines, though. The Pivetta cards are fun, but they just aren't going to be great long term. You need something that breaks arm side instead of glove side. Noah Schultz, another S tier card. Easily. His crazy arm slot because he's 6'9", throwing crossbody, kind of like a baby Randy. He's disgusting. He was my rotation for a very long time. None of those time periods included double PXP somehow, but very long time. Great card. Definitely give him a shot if you need a guy. He's really cheap. Noah Schultz cards are always disgusting. Nolan, unfortunately, isn't that good because he does not have outlier. Same pitch mix he always has, but with his release, he makes it work. But without having outlier, he's gonna get touched up. So this Nolan, D tier card. Later Nolans that are gonna have outlier and like max hits in K per 9 are disgusting and terrifying. So yeah, Paul Skeens. Great mix. Wish it was a cutter instead of a curveball, but that's okay. Good per 9s. Solid release. They changed it a little bit, but it's pretty good. I like it. Skeens is going to be, for me, a high A tier pitcher. I hit him pretty well, so I can't put him up in S tier, but he is really a solid arm. Next up is Randall. He's disgusting. He always is. Now, the one thing is, his pars are kind of big because he has 69 walks per 9 at P4, I guess 65 at base. So he's kind of tough to locate with, but he's 6'10", throws crossbody, and it's just disgusting. Every Randy card's a good card. He is an instant S tier pick. Roger Clemens, the AL collection, he's the hardest card in the game to hit. He is going to headline S tier. He's terrifying. I have 28,000 PXP with this card because he's so good. He's like, words cannot describe how good this card is. Even though it's low 100s hits per 9. He's disgusting. Once you have him, he's not leaving your rotation for months. I'm at a loss for words. Trying to hit him just breaks my brain. Brokey, overall is a solid card. He does get an outlier sinker, and his per 9s are good, but he's a little readable since he doesn't have that cutter that he had in MLB 23, and it makes me so sad. But I hope he learns to throw it this year so they can give it to him again, or maybe just give him the WBC card if they can. I don't know if how the licensing on that works, but if they can, give it to him. The card was amazing. I want it back. But it's not the same Roki from 23, unfortunately. I mean, it's the same guy, but the card just doesn't play the same. So unfortunately for me, he is just a B tier pitcher. Roy Halladay, it's the same disgusting Roy that we're all terrified of, but unfortunately his per 9s just don't get it done. So for this list, he's going to be a C tier, but if we get another 99 Roy this year, which I'm sure we will, because I'm sure his rights were not cheap, he's going to terrorize us for the rest of the year. This one, you could give him a spot start, but I would probably avoid it. Maybe he goes up here. Actually, put him in B tier. He's good. He's not this good, but he's good. Just not this good. Rube Foster, another one of the two-way players. Unfortunately, because he's a low overall two-way, his per 9s are just too low to work. So he is going to have to go into the C tier. But the screwball's fun. I really do like it. Unfortunately, he sits in C tier because his per 9s are too low because he's a two-way 87. Satchel, on the other hand, is actually really good. Like, it kind of scares me when I see him a little bit. Not gonna lie, I pucker. So his per 9 are good enough. K per 9s, good enough. Walks per 9 are definitely a bit of a challenge with him having outlier. But yeah, no, he's a really good card. And for me, is going to crack the low end of S tier. Shane Bieber, don't be fooled by his parallels. I got those in Diamond Quest because I wanted Scott Rowland, and to get Scott Rowland, I needed Chris Bryant. But he's a solid pitcher. I'd put him in B tier. Nothing to really write home about, but definitely serviceable. Shane McBP is exactly how it sounds. BP. He's a D tier pitcher. Doesn't matter his hits per 9. He's super easy to read. Ohtani is great when he's got inside edge. He gets up to a 98, which is absurd. There's a reason he's 560,000 stubs. So if you have him, use him. He's my 5th starter, but he's going to be really hard to dislodge with those hits per 9 on his inside edge days. But low inside edge days or no inside edge days, he definitely could take a day off. Shota Imanaga, very serviceable card, surprisingly. Usually I would light up Shota cards, but with his ability to locate with a 60 velo and 94 walks per 9, I find that my opponents have a really good time just making me chase pitches below the zone, which makes me sad. So I'm going to put him in B tier. Very solid card. I've seen better. I've seen worse. Steve Carlton, new legend. Unfortunately, despite his nice pitch mix and release had too low of per nines to be serviceable by the time I got to 1,000 overall season 1. So he's another A tier pitcher, but he will not crack that A tier until he gets a better card. Tanner Houck. If this was day 1, he was really good. Definitely good enough hits per 9, good pitch mix, but at this point, he's just kind of C tier. He's getting too easy to read. It makes me sad because Houck cards are fun, but this one's just not good enough. Tarek Skubal. His hits per 9 are finally creeping up with some roster updates, which are nice, but his real weapon's a slider, and with it being the 4th pitch, it's kind of tough to locate. It only has 74 pitch control, which makes it kind of a challenge with 88 walks per 9 on 99 velo. So it's fun. I'd give him a shot. He's a solid card, but he's gonna sit firmly towards the top of A tier for me. Tom Glavine cards are fun, and this one is no exception. With 81 hits per 9, he is going to get the job done, to be honest. He's going to be a solid middle of A tier pitcher for me. His breaking stuff is honestly really disgusting and will make a lot of people fall for it. So if you haven't given him a shot yet, it's definitely like worth a start or two, honestly. Sugano, the 35-year-old rookie. He's an interesting card. He's got sinker, cutter, splitter, sweeper, and four seam, but unfortunately, he's just kind of readable. So he's going to sit in B tier. Despite having what looks like a great card, he just does not get the job done due to his readability. And you can see in the photo, just his arm slot is like straight over the top and nice and easy to track. Tyler Glasnow. Again, I have parallels on him because I got the Dodger collection done first. So that does not mean you should use him. Please don't. Save yourself. He is a D tier pitcher. Tyler Mahle has got great per nines. And unfortunately only has things that move glove side, and it makes him really easy to read. I've tried with this card, but it's just not really working out for me. So unfortunately, he's going to be a low B tier guy just because those hits per 9 will play on higher difficulties, but definitely there are better options for you. Ubaldo was a fun arm, and I'm looking forward to his 99, but at this point in the year, he has just kind of been power crept out. I'd call him another solid B tier pitcher. He's definitely serviceable if you need a guy, but I really wouldn't give him a start unless I really had to. We're on the home stretch now. Vida Blue. Fun fact, he was the last switch hitter to win the AL MVP award. He's a very solid card. His per 9s just aren't gonna get it done though. I'm really hoping this is the year they give him outlier as higher overall cards, but his 86 is squarely a C tier pitcher. Walker Buehler has a solid pitch mix and serviceable per 9s. Another solid B tier pitcher. His release is definitely funky enough to get the job done, but there are better guys. Yoshinobu Yamamoto, new member of the Diamond Club. He is a very solid arm with those per 9s, but unfortunately has nothing that moves arm side. The splitter goes straight down, unlike a circle change that'll have a little bit of tail to it. So he is kind of readable, but if you stay below and at the bottom of the zone, he's definitely usable. Both of his cards are pretty similar, so he's not terrible, but he is, in my opinion, still a C tier arm. High C, low B, it could go either way. We'll put one in each just for posterity. Zach Wheeler, he's a solid card. Unfortunately, he just lacks an off speed like a splitter or a changeup or a fork ball or something. I'm pretty sure he throws a splitter IRL. So getting the live SDS, I don't know, but solid card, firmly an A tier, but doesn't crack S tier for me. Here is the final tier list. If you'd like, feel free to take a screenshot. It'll also be on my profile at Showzone. My username is jMils. Again, they're the sponsor of today's video. Make sure you check them out. Link in the description. Now let's move on to the relievers. Leading off the relievers, we've got Adam Ottavino. He is definitely an S tier reliever. He's got the pitches to get you through it, per 9s to get you through it, and a crazy release. He's disgusting, and he's also free if you play Diamond Quest, so it's a win-win. Jonathan Lysiga, a 5-pitch demon, arguably a must-have for bullpens, especially if you don't have collections done. I'd go pick him up if you haven't already. Very solid card. Another guy who sneaks his way into S tier. Darren O'Day, the AL East collection reward. He is disgusting. I don't get a lot of relievers P5, but this one got there really quickly. He is going to be in my bullpen for a very long time, even when I have like 95s, 96s, 97s, because how do you make a card better than this? Let me look at his stats. 120 hits per 9, 125 pitching clutch. I mean, what do you need? Crazy release as well? He's got it. He's going to headline the S tier. Keeping it strong, we've got Urseg, Another guy that cracks his way into S tier. All right, that's enough egg puns. I'm sorry. Won't do it again. Yeah, I probably will, actually. I can't promise that. But either way, he makes his way into the S tier. He's got the outlier. He's got the pitches. Overall, very solid card. Double outlier. Pick him up if you haven't already. Aroldis Chapman cards are always disgusting, especially now with his new release as of last year. He's got outlier again. He's throwing 104 IRL, so I'd imagine his next card's gonna have double outlier. He's disgusting. A must-have lefty in the pen. Pick him up. Definitely knock out that collection for him if you haven't already. Slowing down a bit, we got Matt Brash. Unfortunately, despite having a nice pitch mix, he's pretty readable. A changeup over that knuckle curve would be nice and go a long way, but unfortunately he's a little too easy to hit. So for me, he's gonna slide into B tier. Anything below 100 hits per nine on a reliever as well is kind of tough. So he's just not going to get the job done. Michael Kopech, on the other hand, he knows how to get the job done. He has not allowed a run yet for me through 8 2/3 innings. He's disgusting. He is going to be towards the top of the S tier, and he was a free card and super cheap now, so pick him up if you have not already. David Robertson, on the other hand, has great per nines, but a horrible 3-pitch mix and is really easy to hit. So yeah, he's going to be a D tier reliever. Tough scenes out here. Tanner Scott, while he's got some solid per nines and clutch, unfortunately 3-pitch mix kind of readable. When he gets a sinker again, he'll be good, but this Dodgers Scott and his live series just are not it. He is going to be a C tier reliever. Gregory Soto, he should be in most people's bullpens. I would put him in S tier. Definitely a solid guy. I wish his per nines were a little higher, but he'll get there with parallels. Over 100 is kind of my threshold. He will get there, but he's disgusting. He throws really violently and is just a hard arm slot to pick up. So he is going to be S tier for me. Andrew Miller is an A tier guy for me. He's only got 3 pitches, and while they're disgusting, they're a bit easier to start to pick up. So he's A tier. Solid if you don't have the S tier guys, but there are definitely 8 who are better. Same with Justin Martinez, 4-pitch mix, but the per nines just aren't really there for me, unfortunately. I find I read them really well and just drive the ball into the gaps, at the very least, or over the wall. So another A tier guy, but definitely would not put him any higher than that. Sean Jelly, I believe is his name. He's 6'11", and the throw's really weird. He's got sinker cutter, but then a knuckle curve. My opinion is not really enough to get it done, especially with these hits per nine, but throw's kind of weird. Maybe good on All-Star, but definitely there's better out there. I'm going to put him in C tier. Now we have Jimmy Garcia, and you might notice he's a gold. This is intentional. There are some golds in the game this year that I find serviceable, so I'm going to run through all the golds that aren't duplicate of diamonds, just to give you a rundown of my thoughts on them and quickly rank them. So Jimmy Garcia, I unfortunately think he's C tier. His new release as of a few years ago is much easier to read than the older ones, so he just doesn't really get it done. Hobie Milner is really disgusting with his arm slot, but unfortunately his per nine just doesn't really get it done for me out of the pen. You'll definitely fool a lot of people with him, but he's going to be firmly in B tier for me. Chris Martin, another guy with a solid release and a great pitch mix, but unfortunately his per nines are just too low for me out of the pen. The pitching clutch could carry you in high leverage situations, but I'd wish that would be a little bit higher too. So he is going into the D tier. Kirby Yates, he's got solid per nines. I'm going to put him into the B tier. And upon further reflection, Hobie Milner is going to move up to A tier. Solid pitcher. I think he is better than Kirby, so he's going to go up to A tier. Kirby, unfortunately, just suffers from 3-pitch disease. It's a terrible illness. Now, I know what I said about relievers having to have high hits per nine, and I want you to take what I said and throw it out the window, because Matt Strom is disgusting, and he is going into S tier. I don't know what they did to this guy, but my God, he is insane. Jason Adam, another solid arm, but as far as relievers go, he's going to sit in the C tier because he just doesn't really have the meta pitches, and you really need those on relievers. Cade Smith, he's unfortunately going to be D tier since his hits per nine, it just keeps going down, and doesn't have the pitches to get it done. Danny Kaloum. I was using this guy when he was a silver in my pen. So now that he's a gold who gets inside edge up to a diamond, he's definitely fringe S, but I'm gonna have to put him into A. He's really good. I use him on my alt account, but I just can't put him in S tier. Can't do it. I'm sorry. Hunter Gaddis. He's got the per nines, but not the pitch mix, so another C tier Merchant. Now moving on from relievers to closers, we've got Eric Gagne, who's dropped today. Gagne cards always overwhelm you with the outlier fastball. And while this card's per nines aren't spectacular, I'd say he's a solid A tier pitcher, which I know is going to be controversial because it's the highest overall reliever, but he's A tier for me. I'd rather have Danny Kalum. I'll be honest. Andres Munoz, he is disgusting, and he's going to go in S tier as well. I actually just replaced Michael Kopech with him just because he has an extra pitch. But he's a very similar pitcher, similar arm slot. You can use either one of them. You don't need to go out and buy Munoz if you have Kopech, but he's a really, really good pitcher. Luke Weaver, they gave him a 5th pitch on this card, and honestly, he's really solid. Max hits per 9 and pitching clutch at this point in the year is going to be diabolical. He doesn't have a pitch that moves arm side, but with max stats, it'll work. He's firmly an A tier pitcher. Mason Miller, another disgusting card. 3 pitches though gets a little easy to predict, so he is going to sit in high B for me, which I know is going to be a little controversial, but I find him really easy to hit because outlier, when it only has 2 other pitches, is not that overwhelming for me. I sound like an elitist from that. Trevor Hoffman, another card I have P5 in the pen. He is gross, absolutely disgusting. 2 ERA. I love him. He is S tier. My S tier is building up a little bit, but that's okay. You have options. Kenley Jansen, unfortunately, he's not that great because he doesn't have a sinker. He's got a 2-seam, but it just doesn't play the same. So he's going to be another C tier pitcher. Agnos is cool. His release is fun, but he doesn't have anything that goes arm side, so he's just not really going to play up on the highest difficulties. So for me, he's going to be B tier. Suitor's cool, but unfortunately, his per 9s just aren't there. His pitches either go straight, down, or right. It's pretty easy to pick up, and there's just too much margin for error when you're hitting against him. So he's going to be another C tier arm. Rob Dibble. He's got outlier, but that's about all he's got going for him because the hits per nine are way too low to use. He was a chase pack, and he's still stupid expensive. And for what? Because he's an all-star card and you need him for the Roland collection? Honestly, F tier. Horrible value. Don't get him. Goose. Gossage. Goose is on the loose. Definitely a serviceable guy. I'd put him in B tier. He's got the pitch mix. He's got the outlier. It'll play. He's super cheap, but there are just better options. Liam Hendricks. Interestingly enough, Showzone has a different cover art for him, but I digress. He's okay. Per 9s are too low. Pitch mix is mediocre, but his release is kind of funky, so it could get you, but there are just better options in my opinion, so I'm going to put him in C tier. Mark Davis, he was kind of deceptive when he first came out in the first multiplayer program, but now that everyone and their mother has seen him at least 30 times, he's pretty easy to hit because he lacks anything that's true arm side around. He's got the circle change, which will play like that on higher difficulties, but no sinker on a reliever is kind of tough, especially with 2 types of changeups. So he's going to be another C tier pitcher. Thomas Harrington, unfortunately, per 9s are too low. No arm side run. Same deal, C tier. Billy Wagner, cool card art. Unfortunately, that's about it. He's got no outlier, which is sad. He needs outlier. Give him outlier SDS. I'll also give him like 115 to 125 hits per 9. Thanks. He is going to be D tier. The Fingers. Mr. Fingers is a great pitcher. Unfortunately, his per 9s are too low at this point in the year, so he's going to have to slip into the A tier. It's sad, I know. John Franco. His screwball is just disgusting and like really, really, really hard to hit on GOAT. So I really like him, especially with runners in scoring position because that pitching clutch. So I think he is worthy of S tier. Definitely a fringe between the two. It's hard to pick which of these lefties to bring, but I'd put him in S tier. Very, very solid card. Jeff Hoffman, good velo, good mix. Per 9s just aren't 100% there. So for me, he's a B tier. Ryan Presley, his arm slot is absolutely disgusting, but his per 9s are too low. So again, B tier. Josh Hader has the arm slot, the per 9s. Just wish they'd give him a sinker. If you look at Baseball Savant, it says he throws a sinker and not a 2-seam. So I don't know why they do this, but if he had a sinker, I'd put him in S. But unfortunately, since he doesn't, he is an A. Lee Smith is one of those guys who's got a big body and it's just hard to read when the ball comes out. So if he had higher hits per 9, he'd be great, but unfortunately he doesn't. So again, he is going to go into A tier. Class A, shockingly, a gold. Maybe he'll make it back up again, but they usually don't bounce relievers up and down too much. He's got that outlier cutter, which is unique to him and Doval, which plays really well, but everything moves glove side. So again, A tier. There's this really weird phenomenon with Rob Nen cards where I feel like his slider is going to go like a solid foot further away than it actually does. So sliders in the zone with him are actually really disgusting when you sequence them well. I don't know why. I can't explain it at all. So he's kind of cool. Again, another A tier card though. His per9s just aren't really there. Felix Bautista on an inside edge day, I say would sneak into S tier. So if we want to look at him most favorably, I'd put him here, but it's going to take the inside edge being up because he's right on that threshold, and he's only got 3 pitches, but he's got a big body like Lee Smith, so he is definitely hard to read, and he's especially unforgiving with that K per 9. So I'm going to put him in high A just because he really needs that inside edge for me, but he definitely could play up the S tier on a good day. Then we have Gold Chapman, very solid card. Could potentially be an S tier guy for you on an inside edge day, but definitely lower A in my opinion. Very solid, but there are just better options. That rounds out the relievers and closers. Take a screenshot if you'd like. I think the S tier is pretty firm, and there's enough options to make a bullpen there for you, even if you don't have live series collections done. But you could always dip into A tier if you need a guy or two here and there. And if you're just starting, I'd take a look at A, B, and C. I wouldn't really dip below that. Carlos Santana starting out the catchers. He is an S tier card. That contact plays, power plays, everything plays. He is S tier, and man, his price reflects it because you need all of the pack spotlight cards from the first month of April. He was so expensive, but he's so worth it. He's actually my DH because the other S tier catcher, Jorge Posada, is my catcher because he's got slightly more arm, but disgusting cards, both of them. Both S tier. Josh Gibson overall has a pretty solid build. The contact just isn't really going to play at this point of the year, and it really didn't when he came out, to be honest. So he's going to sit in B tier. He's a cool card, but he's just one of those guys that doesn't really have a great card until he's 99, just the way he has to be built. Ted Simmons, don't let the P5s fool you. He's just mediocre. He is an A tier for me just because of the contact and the clutch and the vision. So it's hard to get blown away with him, but the balls just really don't fly all that well off his bat. So for me, despite being a collection reward, he is A tier. Cal Raleigh. Now, he's got really low contact, but he is a power hitter type and gets some PCI forgiveness. So actually, I like him all the way up the Hall of Fame. Can't use him on Legend or GOAT, so he's A tier, but actually a pretty solid card, surprisingly. Shea Bangaliers. Similar build to Cal Raleigh, but not a switch hitter, and don't love his swing as much, so he is going to fall all the way down into D tier. Mike Napoli. Solid card. Very solid card. Lefty killer, some might say. Unless there's a guy in scoring position. In that case, he's blind. So in that case, he's a B tier catcher with Josh Gibson. He just has too many holes. Logan O. Hoppy. Get it? Like a rabbit. Told you I wasn't done with the puns. He is another just average overall catcher. I would put him into the B tier as well. Will Smith has the best swing in the game and pretty solid stats all around, honestly. He got a nice buff in the last roster update, so I like him. I'm going to put him in A tier. Jason Varitek, solid switch hitting catcher. Unfortunately, he is also blind when runners are in scoring position. So while he looks solid on paper, he just can't come through in the clutch. So another B tier, arguably C tier guy, but just because he's a switch hitter, I'd keep him in B tier. Jonah Heim, another common theme in this game is not being good against righties. He's a switch hitter and he's a platoon bat, and it really hurts. So yeah, it's a common theme in this game, and I don't know why. That's not true. I actually do. It's because the attribute points for the verse lefty stats don't weight into overall as much. So it's a way to manipulate the overalls to have a cooler looking card and arguably a little bit better. Just they don't weight as much into verse lefty stats though, because in real life, you don't face as many lefties. In the game, you do. So it's actually kind of a nice little benefit, but I wish they didn't do that because it leads to us having more lefty killers on the team. And I just need someone who can hit Roger Clemens, please, I beg anybody. I'm holding open tryouts. Anyways, he's a B tier catcher as well. Money Mitch, I have no idea if that's his name, but another lefty killer. Really killed it for me in Diamond Quest, but online I'd be scared to use him because of that vision and contact versus righties. So another B tier catcher. Actually, no, I'm gonna break the trend. He's going into C. Ivan Herrera, pretty solid contact to be honest, and clutch. So that's gonna earn him a spot in the A tier because offense is hard to find at the catching position. So he's a solid A tier catcher. Samuel Basallo, a nice lefty hitting catcher bat that's pretty well balanced. Honestly, he's another A tier guy. I'm a little surprised by this, but he's got an arm. He's got serviceable stats. I'm putting him in A tier. Craig, the third leg Biggio. Unfortunately, he doesn't have a third leg versus lefties. My God, that power is disgusting. He is gonna find his way down into the D tier. Carson Kelly has been on a tear this year, but they didn't really show it in this card. 58 power versus lefties is kind of disgusting, like in a bad way. So unfortunately, he's gonna be a C tier catcher. Austin Wells, obviously S tier catcher. No, actually, Yankee bias aside, he's pretty bad. I'd put him down here in D tier because that 58 contact versus left is just going to eat you alive if you try and hit with him. Augustin Ramirez, another solid, well-built, average catcher. Unfortunately, with his swing, I can't get any lift on the ball. I don't know why, but he's like an anti-Trey Turner. So he's going to fall one tier below Basallo and actually end up in B tier with the rest of these guys. JC Escara, the Uber driver, another platoon type bat, and it makes me sad. So he's going down in D tier with Austin Wells. Dalton Rushing's a little more well balanced, and the fielding really carries him here. So he's gonna sneak into the A tier just for that defense, but the bat is definitely a bit suspect. Pudge is just really a pain to hit with, if we're being honest. And even though he's got the contact, it just trying to hit with this man is just so painful. I can't do it. He's got to be C tier just purely for that alone. Kyle Teal, low vision, average arm, bad contact. He's just going to be a D tier catcher. Gary cards are fun, but the contact on this just makes it a little too tough, unfortunately, even at this point in the year. So he's going to be a C tier guy, but fun card nonetheless. Joe Torre. Now, I've got a bone to pick with SDS, so you guys are going to have to listen to me rant for a second. When they released the Egg Hunt program, they had full flexibility with the cards in the choice packs. And unfortunately, they didn't realize the opportunity they had here with Joe Torre. They could have made this card like the best card in the entire pack. It doesn't matter that he's a righty. He would have been better than Polanco if they also made him an 89. And it would have made people want the packs more and all that, because Joe Torre's got a great swing and he just needs just a little bit more on the stats to really be good, like 110 contact versus both sides as opposed to 90, 100. And he would have been insane. But if you're going to go over the whole contact hitter build out of a catcher, you just need a little bit more contact. And unfortunately, this just isn't enough. So he's going to be an A tier card. And it makes me sad because I really like Joe Torre cards. I really do. But this one just isn't it. I'm hoping for a really nice 99 in like August, because that would be fun. Is Mackey. Plays everywhere. And I mean everywhere, except the pitcher's mound. Unfortunately, he is very defensive forward, and while his low speed is fine behind the plate, his offense is not. So that's just gonna put him at C tier, but I am excited for a higher overall of him because that positional versatility is really valuable, just not with the other cards we have in the game right now. Johnny Bench, he swings a boat oar and is really painful to use, but he's got an arm, really solid defense overall. So I'm gonna put him in B tier, but it's purely for his defense. If you're looking for an offensive catcher, do not use him. William Contreras, solid stats versus lefties, common theme. He's serviceable enough versus righties, but the defense kind of makes him struggle a little bit. So I'm gonna put him in C tier as well. Now we got Joe Mauer, and honestly, Mauer cards that are built like this actually tend to play pretty well. Historically, I've done really well with them, but I just never really had a use for this one. But he's definitely a good counter to Clemens. The problem is he's stupid expensive because he's in a choice pack that you can't get anywhere in the game right now. So he's going into F tier just out of protest for their management of that 20th anniversary pack. But he's not terrible. I'd say maybe CD. Adley, unfortunately, he is blind versus righties and tends to get inside edge down against them as well, just to really kick you in the nuts. So unfortunately, he's just not going to get a lot of play. His higher overall cards are nice, but his live series just is not going to get the job done. Another D tier catcher. So this is our catching tier list. 2 clear top S tier cards, Posada and Santana. You can use any of the A tiers, to be honest. Might be a little biased with that Will Smith pick, but I really love him, and the swing really plays. So give him a shot. He's a nice budget guy if you need somebody. But yeah, these are the catchers. Let's move on to the first baseman. Now on first baseman, we've got the best hitter in DD right now. It's Gil Hodges. I don't really need to say much here. He's just clearly S tier. Next up, we got Tyler Soderstrom, and I actually would platoon him and Mike Napoli a lot at catcher, but he is technically a first baseman and a solid one, but that power versus left's a little suspect. So as a lefty, it's kind of a challenge, but overall, not a terrible card. I'd put him in B tier. Rhys Hoskins is a little better, but his contact versus righties is a little bit tough, but makes up for it with the clutch. I'd put him low A tier. Solid bat. Pete Alonso, another A tier bat. Definitely ahead of Hoskins. You definitely can use him at first base if you don't have Gil Hodges. Then rounding out the spotlight, guys, we've got Pavin Smith, who is really a solid bench bat, if we're being honest, because he's gonna crush righties. Get him to parallel 1 before you use him, just so he goes from being a contact hitter type to a balanced hitter, and he'll do really well for you. So I would put him on your bench, not actually at first base, but for that purpose, he is A tier. Vinny Pasquantino. You know, there's just something about this guy's swing where he's just absolutely disgusting. I unfortunately can't put him in A tier with the rest of the other guys, though, because the stats are like way lower, and first base is such an offensive heavy position, but he's definitely a solid B tier guy. Christian Walker, another decent swing. Unfortunately, his contact versus right is just going to be a bit too much of a challenge along with the clutch. So he's going to sit in the C tier. Tony Clark, solid bat. Good enough contact with being a switch hitter. Definitely serviceable power. Vision's a little spotty, but I would call him another A tier first baseman. Rake Berger. I crush with this card on my alt account, but my alt account has never made it up the legend. So, been seeing these stats. He is going to be a B tier first baseman. Kyle Manzardo, solid lefty first baseman. Nothing that really wows you, so he's going to fall into the B tier, but very serviceable and pretty easy to acquire. Jonathan Aranda is a platoon bat, and given all the really cheap first basemen who aren't platoon bats, we're going to put him down in D tier. Lance Berkman, first flawless guy. Switch hitter, which is cool. Overall, pretty solid. Going to put him in B tier, though, because he's a little weaker versus lefties, but not bad. Not a bad card. Paulie Goldschmidt. Paulie G. Unfortunately, this card's not that great. He can't hit righties very well, and he's a contact hitter versus lefties. So while that contact looks great, it's too high. So he is going to be a C tier bat. Bryce Harper is absolutely disgusting. It's definitely a going insane. All right, we got Bryce Harper, definitely a solid B tier bat. Vision's a little tough being a lefty, given we got guys like Randy and Johnny D right now running around, but very solid attributes overall, and gets supercharged sometimes. So, you know, when he's supercharged, definitely S tier. Well, A tier. No one else is S tier than Gil. So he's going to be right in the B tier. Matt Gorski, definitely very platoon heavy. So like the other platoon, Aranda, going to B tier. Enough said. Freddie Freeman, he's got a great swing, and unfortunately being a contact hitter against righties makes it a bit of a challenge because you got to really get under and pull inside pitches when you're facing a righty. Facing a lefty, though, he's kind of fun. He definitely will fight enough with his inside edge. He gets an inside edge up a lot because he's just a great player IRL. So nothing really to worry about there. But he definitely is going to fall into B tier because of that contact hitter type. So David Justice has reverse splits, which is interesting. His contact is just too low against righties to really play, even with it being the side that's not that hard to hit. It's just too low at this point in the year. Unfortunately, 63 is just not going to play, so he is going to fall down into the C tier. Rizzo looks pretty balanced on paper, to be honest, but 91-65 versus left actually makes it really tough to hit lefty with him just because of the contact hitter type, so he's going to be another C tier bat. Todd Helton cards are always fun. Unfortunately, like Rizzo, he is a contact hitter, so again, C tier. So we have Cardinals McGuire. Cardinals McGuire actually has the better swing of the two McGuires, but really low vision and 80 contact versus right, and he's just completely blind up at the plate against Roger. So good luck. C tier. Ryan Howard, another platoon bat. Put him on the bench if you want, but the vision is really tough, actually, so I probably wouldn't. I'm putting him in D tier. David Ortiz is a very solid DH. That fielding just makes it impossible to use at first base, in my opinion. So I would consider DHing him potentially, but definitely not a first baseman. So he's actually going to go into D tier for me. Buck O'Neil, he's got a great swing and just a fun card to use overall. He's a contact hitter, so I got to knock him down a little bit, unfortunately. So he's going to sit in the C tier, but he's a fun card. Very fun card. Rod Carew, crazy contact hitter to the point where it might actually play because everything's just going to dunk in front of the outfielders. But you cannot hit a fly ball with this guy. Otherwise, it's not going anywhere. So I'm going to put him into B tier because it's a contact hitter to the point where it's actually serviceable on GOAT with the vision and everything like that as well. So I'm going to put him into B tier, but definitely a niche use case card. Richie Sexton. Disgusting BR card. Absolutely disgusting BR card. I am just insane with him in BR. But I would not really use him in the ranked because 67 contact versus righties is damn near impossible above Hall of Fame. So again, another, we'll call him a platoon bat. So I'm not going to put him in D tier, but he's going to go into C tier. Beth Jagwell, unfortunately, contact hitter and horrible swing. So despite not being a platoon bat, D tier. Jack Kaggs, he was solid at the beginning of the year. And actually, if you put him onto the mound, he had a knuckleball like the first week of the year. You can try it now. It doesn't work anymore. But he had a knuckleball like the first week of the year. And it was actually disgusting if you brought him from first base to the mound. So I'm glad that's patched. If you don't believe me, try it. But he just has gotten power crept out, unfortunately. Another C tier type bat. Not platoony, but he's got, power hitter type. So balls will fly if you get close, but it's hard to get close. Hank Greenberg, contact hitter, but the contact is so high it might actually play against lefties. Against righties, kind of tough. So again, I'm putting him in C tier, but I'm excited for like his higher overall cards. Also, he's getting up there in price. He's not crazy yet, but he's getting up there. Frank the Tank just doesn't look the same when he's not a high enough overall because he's got pretty mediocre fielding and they just can't get those stats up high enough, sadly. So when we get a higher Frank, he could be pretty good, but I still don't think he's going to supplant Gil. I'm going to have a hard time moving Gil at all for the rest of the year, for being honest. So he's right now just B tier because his hitting's not good enough for his really bad fielding. Pete Alonso. This is definitely worse than his spotlight card. I would put him down into C tier just because his contact is so low. Not a bad card, but not the best. The Vlad Jr., on the other hand, I would put into B tier because his contact is higher, and on inside edge days against righties, he remains a balanced hitter, I believe. 98. It's close. It's really close. But I like his swing better as well, so we're going to put him into B tier. So that rounds out the first baseman tiers, and Gil Hodges is by far the best first baseman of the game. It's not even close. The rest of the guys at A are definitely all usable. I would highly recommend you use one of them, but you could dip into B if you needed to. But I would stick with S tier if you've got collections, obviously, or A tier. All right, moving on to second baseman. We're starting off with Jason Kipnis. Collection reward for the AL Central. 92 overall. He just recently got included in the captain boost threshold, and honestly, he's really a solid card overall. The only thing I can knock him for is his cost, but in terms of both offensive and defensive value, he easily slots into the S tier. Next, we have this 89 overall Brandon Lau, and honestly, this card's kind of disgusting. He's got reverse splits, so he'll be good lefty, and with how Brandon Lau's swing plays, he'll actually make up for that 75 contact versus right. This might be a hot take. I'm also going to slide this Brandon Lau into S tier. If you haven't tried him, you really should. Next up, we have this Ozzy Albies from the multiplayer program, and he's also disgusting. I used him a lot in co-op, and he just absolutely raked. The offensive attributes for me feel just a little bit weaker, and the 51 arm kind of scares me because double plays are harder to turn this year. So with that being said, I am going to slide him into the A tier, but it's really close. Like really, really close. Next up, we have the Chase pack. Chase Utley. You guys are going to get really tired of these puns, and I'm sorry, but you're going to have to deal with it. Overall, another really solid, well-built card, and the only knock on him is also his price. I don't think he's worth the 70,000 stubs just for a standalone all-star card, but he is another S tier player. And we have Ryan Sandberg from the second weekend classic pack. And once again, great offensive attributes, serviceable defense, another S tier card at this point in the year. And considering he's only 30 something thousand stubs because everyone's getting these weekend classic packs, you really should pick him up and give him a shot. Those attributes will certainly play for quite a while. Oh, jump scare. It's me. Face for real, I guess? I don't know. I forgot to point out Ryan Sandberg's clutch is actually really bad. So he's not S tier. He is somewhere closer to A or B. Anyways, back to the video. Jorge Polanco is another great card. His defense scares me a little bit. 68 fielding, 68 reaction is going to be a bit of a challenge trying to field anything not directly at him. But his offense is incredible and probably makes up for all that. So we're getting a crowded S tier here, but honestly, you can use any one of these guys. I think I will have to move Brandon Lau down to the A tier though, because while he is really good, he's just slightly worse than these other guys here. Ketel Marte, another instant S tier card. He gets inside edge against righties most days, so that makes up for the 74 contact, but on days he doesn't, maybe pick somebody else out of the S tier. But overall, incredible card, incredible swing, incredible defense, just chef's kiss. Next up is Brendan Donovan. He's got really good defense and great contact versus right, but everything else kind of is a little bit suspect. So despite being an 89, he's actually going to slide down into the B tier for me. He just doesn't have enough to get it done. Next up, we have Daniel Schneemann. He is firmly a platoon bat, but has some utility value on your bench. There are better utility cards, in my opinion, like Martin Tehigo, but not a bad utility guy per se. So there is some value for him, but in terms of second baseman, he's really just C tier. Kyron Paris, very well built card until you look at the vision, sadly, but they tend to do that a lot to rookies. So he's another A tier second baseman, really well built, but just lacking something that really stands out to push him up into the S tier. Gleyber Torres, another really solid card. The power versus right is going to be what pushes him from S down into A tier, unfortunately, because it does make him a contact hitter. But honestly, he is a really solid card, and I actually keep him on my bench still. He's crushing for me. But Ketel Marte just beats him out on my team personally, so he is going to be in the middle of the A tier. Bill Maz. He's a fun card. He's got high vision, which is always nice, but the offensive attributes are just a little bit lackluster. Having powers in the low 60s and high 50s just isn't going to get it done at this point in the year. So unfortunately, he's going to be a B tier card, despite the vision and really solid defense. Whit Merrifield. I know what I just said about low power, but somehow he makes up for it because my God, this is on GOAT and he crushes. So for me, personally, I think he's an S tier card, but that's really only if you're on GOAT. So unfortunately, I am going to put him in the A tier just because most people are not playing GOAT and he's going to be a little less valuable for you because you don't really need that 125 contact unless you're playing on GOAT. Jazz Chisholm. I don't really know who this card's for, to be honest. Technically, he's a little better versus righties, but there are just better second baseman. It's not even like good enough against righties to really be considered a platoon bat. So he's just really a C tier card. Christian Campbell, a really solid bat from early game. He's just slowly getting phased out because of the low vision. But for a budget beasts kind of build, this is honestly a really good card. So I'm going to put him up in the B tier because there are just better players. He's really well built, to be honest, for a second baseman. Plus, that positional versatility is real nice if you make a lot of substitutions towards the end of the game for matchups and stuff like that. Tommy Edman. I love Edman cards, but I don't love this one. He is a platoon bat as a switch hitter. He was clearly a natural born righty, and it shows with these stats because, my God, he is blind against lefties. So unfortunately, he's also going to fall into C tier. I just will never use this card, and the only reason I own him is because I wanted Santana. So to C tier he goes. Chase Mydroth. The contact plays, the vision is definitely good enough, and the defense is also barely good enough with that 70 reaction, but he leaves a little to be desired in the power department, so he's going to end up in B tier. Max Muncy. Gonna crush left-handed hitters for you, but that's about all he can do. 76 contact versus right with 60 vision definitely is gonna make inside sinkers tough for you, especially if you're facing Clemens, which is scary. So another B tier card in my opinion. Jeff McNeil. Love the high vision, love the defense that'll parallel up into the 80s, but the hitting stats are just kind of tough, and it's gonna make another B tier card. Bobby Grich. I've used this guy in BR and his swing's okay. Not the best, but okay. The stats are pretty serviceable, but considering how much work you have to do to actually get him as the Angels Jolt card, I don't really see a use for him, so that's actually going to push him down into C tier for me. There's not really a good use case for this guy unless you're running an Angels theme team, and if that's the case, you're not looking at this tier list anyways. Tony Stone. This is actually a great card for Legend and GOAT. She's got a great swing. The vision's there, the contact's there, the defense is there. I'm going to put her in A tier. Ian Kinsler cards are fun, but this one's tough because they wanted to give him crazy clutch and everything else really suffered for it. His defense is basically impossible to deal with, and the power is really a challenge as well. So this is going to be another C tier card, sadly. Travis Pizzana. He's got a real sweet swing, so that definitely compensates for the low 80s contact versus left. That being said, he's not going to crack S tier, but I am willing to put him firmly into A tier. It's a fan favorite card since the draft last year, and honestly, there's not much I can say about this that's bad other than the vision, so he's going to sit firmly in A tier. Bryson Stott, another 87, but it's just not as well built as Pizzana because they gave him higher fielding and such, so he's going to be a B tier card. That low power is really going to hurt you. Joe Morgan, another fan favorite swing, but with how fast he is and how good his defense is, it's just too early in the year to have a good Joe Morgan. Sadly, that offense is not going to play, and he's going to be all the way down in the C tier. Then rounding out our second baseman, we have Luke Keeschel. He's got reverse splits, which is nice, but the power is so low against both sides that it makes him a contact hitter. That is not high enough contact to be an effective contact hitter, in my opinion. Plus 99 base running aggressiveness and steal is really not necessary at this point in the year, but considering his Tops Now card was for steals, that's what you're going to get, and that does not mean you should use this card, so he is going in the C tier. So this is our second baseman tier list. You can easily use any of the guys up in the S tier. My personal recommendation would be Ketel Marte, since you need to get him eventually for the live series collection regardless, so I would put your stubs in that direction first. But any of those guys will play. Sandberg would be the cheapest, so it's really pick your poison. They're all going to be very effective for you. If you're looking for more of a fun build, you can definitely pick anybody out of the A tier, but below that, I would really just avoid them all. First up for our third baseman, we have Scott Rowland. Obviously, he's going to be S tier. He's the collection guy, but he's not going to be the only one in S tier like some of the other collection cards we've had. Next up is Chase Headley, and despite being a 93, he just really could never get it done for me. That 70 contact did not play well, and neither did that 64 vision. So while this might be a hot take, I'm going to put him into B tier. Gino. Really solid card. Really solid card. Just unfortunately, that 52 vision is really a challenge. So while he's got the rest of the hitting and defense to put him in S tier, that vision is just gonna push him down into A tier for me. Devers, this card's disgusting. He's gonna get the job done defensively, and his offense is insane. He unfortunately is just over 100,000 subs, so not a lot of people are gonna go out and buy him, but hey, if you have him, it's definitely worth running. I consider him another A tier third baseman. Josh Young, unfortunately, he's a platoon bat, and if you'll notice the trend we have going, platoon bats end up in C tier. He's got great defense, but that's about it. Jordan Westberg, he was the first April Spotlight card from the programs, and he might have been the best one they released the entire time until maybe Pete Alonso. So he's still a very usable card since he has that reverse split build, so he actually sneaks his way into A tier as well. Chris Bryant, he comes from the most recent mini seasons, and honestly, another very well built card. The only thing that I question here is the 80 clutch, and for me, that's enough to put him into the B tier, but he is a really solid card. Justin Turner is going to be another platoon bat, sadly, because he has 61 power versus righties. I don't know how that happens, if we're being honest, but that's what they chose to do. So he's going to crush lefties and hit lazy flyouts against righties, which is not what you want in a game with Roger Clemens. So he is going to fall into the C tier. Ryan McMahon, incredible attributes offensively. He's got nearly 100 contact versus lefties, which is going to really be valuable for you. His vision is really the only thing holding him back. So for me, he does fall into A tier. Noel Marte, he's got reverse splits, which is nice. Got good clutch. The vision is serviceable. The defense is serviceable, but that power versus lefties is just enough for me to question it, and he's going to end up in the B tier. This Alex Bregman's cool, but the contact versus left is just a bit of a challenge. If he was a 90, he probably would be considerably more valuable. But at this point in the year, I want a little bit more contact when facing Randy and Johnny D. So he is also going to fall into the B tier. Troy Gloss, another platoon bat. Great defense, but this one's obviously another C tier. Michael Garcia, the positional versatility is nice. The vision's good enough. The clutch is there. The contact's there. It's just that 50 power versus lefties is what kills me. And it's just not going to be enough to get the job done. So unfortunately, he's going to be another B tier bat. Chipper Jones, a platoon bat. And I really don't know why they did this, if we're being honest. I guess they thought the name would carry him, but he just really doesn't get any play. So he is going to go into C tier along with his regular variants. Terry Pendleton, Scary Terry. He is a really solid card. I unfortunately have this innate ability to hit perfect lineouts with anyone who does not have at least balanced hitter type. So for me, I can't put him above B tier, but I know a lot of people actually do really well with him, including Cbrev. So he's maybe worth a shot if you don't like anyone that is above B tier on my list, but I really would not personally recommend him. Jose Ramirez. Sadly, this is an inside edge day against lefties and not righties, but on the days against righties, I would argue that he could be better than Scott Rowland, just because he's a switch hitter and I really love J-Ram's swing. It should be obvious considering I have him P5. So J-Ram actually sneaks his way into S tier as well. You could honestly use either Roland or J-Ram and get pretty similar production. Max Muncy, his real value is being the Dodgers captain because you can run basically a Dodgers themed team and be pretty competitive. It's not cheap, but it'd be pretty competitive. The 48 contact versus left, sadly, is just not going to play. So for me, he's another C tier third baseman. Adrian Beltre is fun, but it's just a little too early in the year considering how good his defense is. So for me, he's going to be another B tier guy just because the power isn't there and the contact is really starting to get towards that line where I don't love it either. But his cards are fun, so keep an eye out for higher diamond Beltres later in the year. Wade Boggs. He's got really good contact, vision, and clutch, which is nice, but that's about it. His defense barely gets there, and 34 power is just not going to be what I'm looking for out of a third baseman. I want a power bat in this position, so he's going to be another C tier guy for me, even though he's not even a platoon bat. Kobe Mayo, he was fun, but the game's moved on from him power creep wise. The 51 vision's just not going to play. 68 contact is not going to play. So while reverse splits are nice, he's just not good enough. So another C tier bat. 87 Scott Rowland. Now, Scott Rowland does not have the best stride in the game. So while his 99 makes up for it, the 87 certainly does not. So this is going to be another C tier bat. Tier's filling up quick, but I guess that kind of makes sense. Caleb Durbin, Yankee legend. Got Devin Williams for us, and man, he has not been good. But anyways, he isn't really even a platoon bat because he doesn't have power versus lefties. So I don't know what to really call him, but wow, this card just leaves a lot to be desired. So for me, he's going to be another C tier bat. Hank Thompson, his cards are fun, but with how his defense is, it's just an 85 is not going to play for him, sadly. So at this point in the year, he's going to be another C tier bat. Junior, he's got a great swing, but unfortunately, he's going to be another platoon guy because he's got 71 contact versus righties. So quickly, the C tier is expanding. Brooks Robinson, another seldom used legend name. And if you look at the stats, you can see why here. He just doesn't do anything well other than defense. And again, that's not really what people are looking for out of a low diamond third baseman. So he is going to quickly fall into the C tier. Richard Allen, he's got eye contact and it's kind of nice, but unfortunately that power is just going to make anything he hits hang up in the air for way too long. So sadly, he's going to be another C tier bat. Corey Seager, he's got reverse splits and man, he takes advantage of it. He's one of these seldom few cards that really, the saying swings over attributes actually matters here. You will crush with this card. He's going to be shockingly an A tier third baseman. Nothing on this page really screams it, but he has the intangibles and really takes advantage of them. Matt Shaw, overall, a well-built card for an 85, but at this point in the year, there aren't a lot of 85s that are going to play. So he's just going to be another C tier bat. Guy Rosario, he has a horrible swing and is a platoon bat. So another easy C tier. Judy Johnson, the contact's nice. The defense is nice. The power is not, but I'd say he sneaks his way into B tier. Definitely a serviceable card with that positional flexibility, but there are definitely better options as well. David Wright, another high contact guy, good defense, but considering his contact is better versus righties instead of lefties and his swing is a little slow, he's going to be another C tier bat. George Brett, he's a fun card, good vision, high contact. He's got a fun swing and it'll play. It'll sneak him up out of C into B, but he really only gets good when he's like a 95 or higher, in my opinion. And rounding out the list, we've got this Paul Molitor, which is honestly a hate crime. So I'm just putting him in C tier and we're moving on to the shortstops. But before we go to the shortstops, here's a quick glance at the full tier list. The bottom two are right and roll, and I'm just not going to expand this and make everyone else a little smaller just for 2 cards. Just as a reminder, Roland, the 99, and J-Ram are definitely interchangeable, especially if you've got some parallels on J-Ram and he's having versus righties inside edge day. If you don't have either of them, the guys in A tier are definitely also very usable. Leading off for the third baseman, we've got Willie Castro, and my God, this is one of the best cards on the market, and his price really reflects it. Wow. That hurts. He's obviously the best shortstop in the game. Instant S tier card. If you can afford him, you should get him. Next up is Trevor Story, and he's got platoonish stats, but his defense at short is going to actually make me overlook that just a little bit. Along with his swing, he will be able to turn on inside pitches. Unlike most with 82 contact, he will play. And honestly, I would consider this an S tier card due to his defensive value and above average offensive value at shortstop. Carlos Correa actually has similar stats to that Trevor Story, but he's too slow, in my opinion, to really be a great shortstop. So he's going to fall down into the A tier, but definitely a great budget option. Dansby Swanson, they really love to give him this build where it's like 70s all offensive stats except for his contact versus lefties. And maybe if you love his like quick little slap swing, this could play for you, but unfortunately for me, he's just kind of a B tier card. Corey Seager, having a very mediocre inside edge day, plus zeros, is a righty killer. And I see people platooning him and Trey Turner, so I can't knock him down too far, but for me, the appeal just isn't there. So he's gonna be a B tier card for me. And upon some reflection, that means Dansby Swanson should be in the C tier. Francisco Lindor is honestly disgusting. Great switch hitter. The vision's there. The defense is there. The only thing that I really question is his speed, but overall, he really does play. If you've got him to P4 or more, getting to 90 plus reaction is incredibly valuable. So he's going to be another S tier shortstop. Big Hannes. It's a fun card. Great positional versatility. Great defense. Great speed. I'm just not the best with his swing, but his swing isn't bad. It's just like a personal fit thing for me. So while I don't love him and I'm not hitting the best with him, he is actually a really good card, and I'd put him in the S tier as well. JJ, this card's got a nasty swing and really is serviceable in all aspects of his game. The contact is good enough. The defense is good enough. I'd give him a very solid, well-built A rating. Cover athlete Ellie is still a bit too platoony for my liking. That 70 contact with 44 vision really hurts, but this is what happens when you have a 90 overall with max speed, near max defense, other than his arm accuracy, which is interesting. They tanked that just to make this card somewhat serviceable. But for me, he's actually a B tier shortstop because that 44 vision is damn near unexcusable. Jacob Wilson, he's just not really going to get much play, sadly. The low power and low speed just are not going to work very well at shortstop. So for me, he's another C tier guy along with Dansby Swanson. Bobby Witt Jr. is firmly in the A tier. I do like him on inside edge days against righties if I'm having a hard time touching anything on GOAT, but his cards just really don't get good until 99 overall because he gets damn near max defense and it really hurts his offensive attributes. He had one of the highest OPSs in the American League last year, and this is the power that they give him. It's kind of depressing, actually. So all that being said, his swing plays, he's got the quirks, so the power definitely can get made up for, but for me, he's still just an A tier card. Remy Jollins, he's not great at anything, to be honest. The vision definitely is nice, but everything else is just kind of a challenge at 88 overall. So for me, he's just a B tier. 99 jimmies are fun, but 88s are not. Jackie Robinson, his cards are always fun, but at an 89, again, like Jimmy, it's just kind of tough. He doesn't do anything well enough, in my opinion, other than being able to bunt. And I can't advocate for anyone doing that because it's toxic. Feel free to argue with me in the comments if you disagree, but he's just not gonna get the job done for me. He is like Bobby Witt, but worse. So for me, he's gonna fall into the B tier. Marcelo Mayer? I don't know. He has a bit of a platoonish build with a high contact versus righties, but the vision is just too low, and so is his speed. So for me, he's just another C tier bat. Ozzie Smith, he's one of those guys where the low power doesn't really matter for some reason. I can't explain this phenomenon, but for whatever reason, he just plays, and I just get absolutely shelled by him whenever I face him. So for me, he's going to be an A tier card. Michael Young, he's got a fun build. He's got the vision. He's got the contact. He's got the clutch, but his speed and defense just drag him down. Like, he would be a great 90, 91, but at an 86, he just does not get the job done. See, I'm a poet. You didn't know it. He's going to be another B tier bat. Robin Yount does not have the speed or the power or the clutch to get it done. So he is also falling into the B tier. Cal Ripken Jr., same deal. Not enough power, not enough speed. Cal Ripken Jr., same deal. Not enough power, not enough speed, not enough reaction. So another C tier shortstop. Jordan Lawler, he's fun because he's fast and his defense is definitely good enough, but 60s contact at this point in the year, same-handed, is just not going to play. So he's going to fall into the C tier. Mookie, he's a great card. I'm going to have a hard time taking him out of my lineup for Story when I get Story, but I'm definitely going to give Story a shot. That being said, I think he is also another S tier shortstop. While he's slow, his reaction and fielding is good enough that he gets to most baseballs, so I wouldn't worry about it too much, and the contact and clutch really carry him, along with his just butter smooth swing. DeVries was fun when he came out, but unfortunately he's just starting to get power crept out. So sadly, he's going to be another B tier bat, as much as that pains me to say. I love my switch hitting middle infielders, but he's just not quite there attribute wise anymore. Willie Thomas is interesting because he looks like a platoon, but it's actually against the same handed side. But even 60 power against the other side is just a bit too challenging. So I don't think he's going to get the job done. For me, he's going to be another B tier bat. Carson Williams is definitely cool and was really useful when we got the pipeline collection, but a month and a half later, and he's just also not going to get the job done with 60s contact. So he is going into the B tier. Anthony Volpe got the speed, got the reaction, got the fielding, and 80s contact will play, but it's not great. His swing's nice, so it helps a little, but the vision's a little low. I'm gonna hesitantly put him towards the top of B tier. I can't put him in A, but he is actually a fun card. So if you need a real budget guy, he's worth a shot, but I can't put him in A because the rest of the guys in A just outclass him in every way possible. Derek Jeter just doesn't wow me. He's got some contact and vision, but that's really about it. The fielding's not there, the speed's not there, the power's not there. He's definitely a 2012 Derek Jeter card, and it makes me sad. So he's going to go into the C tier. Gage Workman. I don't like the landscape card art. I don't like his platoony stats. He's got good fielding and definitely 70 speed will play, but the 50 power versus lefties will not, and neither will the 51 vision. So to C tier you go. Trey Turner gets so much play because of his swing. The 60 power does not matter. You turn on the ball, it will fly. So he is a great budget option and is going to sneak his way into the A tier. Live Series Ellie, on the other hand, 63 versus left, will not play, especially with 48 vision. So he is going to be another platoony C tier bat. So taking a look again at the full tier list, we've got a solid group of 5 in S tier and A tier. And honestly, you can use any of the 10 of them, but the 5 in S are definitely better than the 5 in A, in my opinion. Now, before we dive into the left fielders, I want to mention 2 quick things. First off, I am going to be rating all of these outfielders as outfielders themselves. When I get to DH, I will include bats from other positions that I think are serviceable DHs as well in that tier list. So guys like Jordan will be rated a little lower on here, but maybe a little higher on the DH tier list. Cough, cough, wink, wink. Second, want to again shout out ShowZone. Thank you again for sponsoring this video. Make sure to use my link in the description if you're interested in signing up for a premium membership from them. They also have free tiers as well. Definitely go check out the website. Now, back to the tier listing. This Jordan Alvarez, while his offense is nice, is too slow to be an outfielder. So he is going to fall into the D tier. Wyatt Langford, on the other hand, has incredible defense, and I would consider starting this card if I didn't have a few better options, but his swing definitely makes up for a bit of the offensive shortcomings, and the defense really carries him. I'd actually call him an A tier left fielder. Willie Stargell, another guy who's just too slow to be in the outfield, just like Jordan. So regardless of those attributes on offense, he's another D tier left fielder. Raul Ibanez, same deal. He's platoony and too slow, so he goes in the D tier. Don Baylor, he is platoony, but he definitely can play the field. The 56 reaction is challenging, but 80 speed can make up for it. So I'll put him in C tier, but I can't put him in B or A. Ralph Kiner, again, great offense, mediocre to bad defense. That 46 speed just does not play, so he goes into D tier. Santander, same thing, 46 speed. I cannot play him in the outfield, so he is going into D tier. Taylor Ward, 61 speed is just about that line where it becomes serviceable, so he's not going to get knocked down to D tier. The contact is there, but the power versus left and the vision is not, so he's going to be another C tier for me. JD Martinez, the offense is there, the speed and defense is not. You know the drill. He goes to D tier. Riley Green does have enough fielding and speed, but is a bit platoony, so he's gonna go into the C tier. Jason Bay is just a bit too slow, and that contact versus right is not gonna play, so he goes into the D tier. Tim Raines, incredible defense, great contact, great vision, great clutch, great fielding. So for me, he's actually an S tier left fielder. For whatever reason, the power still plays. I can't explain it. Part of it's dead red, but I really can't explain it. He just smashes baseballs. Manny, fun looking card, but 50 speed is just not going to do it at this point in the year. So he is also going to be a D tier outfielder. Tyler O'Neill, it's got serviceable speed, but 58 contact is not going to play. He's an okay platoon bat and would be a great bench bat if he didn't have 38 vision. This dude is worse than any of the 3 blind mice. So he's going to be another D tier, even though he actually can field a little. Wyatt Langford has got the defense, but he just does not have the contact to get it done. So he's going to be a C tier guy. He'll be a great defensive option in the outfield, but the contact is just a little too low to really play. Live Series Jordan will smash baseballs for you, but once again, just cannot field and has 35 speed. So he's going to fall into into D tier. Reiki, on the other hand, can field, has serviceable contact, good enough vision. The clutch is a little suspect though, so I have to push him into B tier. Schwarber is also too slow to play the outfield at this point in the year. His contact is also a bit challenging for righties, but at least it's reverse splits style, so you can kind of make up for it. But for me, he's another C tier guy, maybe B tier if you're playing on All-Star. So I'll settle him there for now because his swing is really loved and people will definitely try and use him. So I'll put him there, but he's definitely on that threshold between B and C for me. That's so wrong. It's not even funny. Wow. Kyle Schwarber, he's got reverse splits-ish with the contact, but he's got 42 speed, so he's gonna sit in the D tier. Javier Sanoa, he has good enough contact, but the power is really just not there. He's got the speed, he can play the defense, but I'm just gonna put him in the C tier. He just doesn't do anything well enough, in my opinion. Monty Irvin, fun guy. He'll be a great card when we get a 99 of him, but as of now, he's just got a very mediocre build. So for me, with 64 reaction, he's gonna fall into B tier. Soriano does have the speed and the defense to play the outfield. He's got reverse contact splits, which is nice. So he'll be able to cover inside pitches a little better, especially with his swing being more of an inside out kind of thing. So it'll play, but the vision's a little suspect. The clutch is really low. So for me, it's going to still be C tier. Steven Kwan with 51 speed just is not going to get any play, sadly. You need him to be a lockdown outfielder to really justify it, and 51 speed won't do it. So while he's got a nice swing, he's just not going to get the play. So he's also going to be in the C tier. This is going to piss a lot of you guys off, but Ted Williams, in my opinion, is also D tier because he's a contact hitter versus lefties, which makes him effectively useless against the same side. And 56 speed with that defense and reaction also pushes him into the D tier for me. Gary Sheffield, again, just a little slow with bad enough defensive stats that I'm gonna put him all the way down into the C tier, regardless of his offensive attributes. He's just going to be a real challenge to play out there. He can swing it, so it makes up for some of the defense, but I just really can't see myself ever using this card. Ryan Braun just is not going to get much play either. 76 contact against the same side, 68 speed and 70s fielding. The clutch is nice, but I think he's like a firm B tier bat in my opinion. Matt Holliday, he falls in this group that's too slow to play the outfield, so not going to ramble on too long. He's in D tier. Aaron Meisner, he's a disgusting card, and he's going to find his way into the A tier. I have mashed with this guy on my alt account, and his fielding is definitely incredible. So if you need a budget beast, he is your guy. James Wood, he would be great if his fielding was there. 51 reaction and 66 fielding is going to push him down into the B tier, sadly. He's got the offense, he's got the clutch, the vision suspect, and the fielding and reaction just really hurt. So he's B tier. Next up, we got Jason Derulo. Platoon bat as a switch hitter, which is fun, but that is kind of how he's been IRL. So it makes sense. Sadly, 70 speed and 64 reaction is not going to get it done. So he's also a C tier. So here's our tier list for the left fielders. Oh wait, we're missing the unusable guys. There we go. Here's our tier list for the left fielders. Tim Raines really is just your guy, and he's pretty cheap too. So that's who I'd go with if I were you. Now, before we get into the center fielders, I would like to point out one quick thing that is not very clear in the game. If you put a center fielder out of position into a corner outfield position, they typically only lose the same amount of fielding as a secondary penalty, around 5 points. So this is part of why I'm tier listing these guys by primary positions only. When you look at these center fielders, all of them can play the corners pretty well as well. So when you look at these center fielders, all of them can play the corners in a very similar fashion to how they play center field itself. So definitely keep that in mind as we evaluate these cards. If you don't like my corner outfield options, you may want to just put a center fielder out there instead. So starting off, we've got Carlos Beltran. He is the obvious S tier card. This guy would have started for me in MLB 24, which had that baby power creep where we reset it like 3-4 times during the year. Next up, we have Bernie Williams. So he doesn't have secondaries. He can play in the corners, no problem. So I'm gonna evaluate him from that perspective because you cannot play this defense in center field, but you could put him in a corner and he'll be okay. So for me, he's gonna be an A tier card. We have Brian Reynolds, same story. You can play him in left or right and it'll be just the same. So Another A tier card. The offense is there. The clutch is there. The vision's there. Ken Griffey Jr. Love his swing. He's got more contact versus lefties, so I'd rather this reverse splits type build as opposed to someone looking more platoony against the other side. This will play. He is definitely in contention with Corbin Carroll for me for my right field spot, so I like him. Another S tier card. Larry Doby is just a little bit slower, and for me, it's not what I love out of an outfielder, so I'm going to put him into the B tier. Steve Finley has one of the greatest swings in this game, so it's going to make him play above that contact, but 71 speed is going to also make him struggle just a little bit. So for me, another B tier kind of guy. I'm sorry. Don't hate me. Don't throw eggs. See, you thought you were done with the eggs, but you weren't. I still got you. Andre Dawson. I don't know who this is for, if we're being honest. His swing's really bad. He can't hit a lefty, so this is going to be a C tier guy. Jim Edmonds cannot hit a lefty either. He's very platoony, and his clutch is even worse, so he's going to fall all the way into the D tier before we even look at his speed and see that's also unusable. O'Neal Cruz, he's going to play a great defensive center field for you, but he cannot hit a lefty to save his life, so he's going to be another C tier platoon bat. Trent Grisham, honestly, a really well-built card until you realize he has 54 speed, so he also goes into the D tier. Jake Myers, solid average build for a righty. He's got the reverse splits, which is definitely preferable in my opinion to if those were mirrored or if he were a lefty with those attributes. So it plays, the defense is there, the speed is there. I'd put him in B tier. Mickey Mantle, the attributes in the defense look not bad. I've seen better, but not bad. The problem is with Mickey Mantle's swing, if you throw him fastballs middle in, he just really can't turn on them compared to other players. I mean, you can sell out for him, obviously, but it's just so hard to catch up to middle in fastballs with him, and I can't explain it, but it's so easy just to spam them right there, and you just can't hit them. So Mickey Mantle is going to be a C tier bat for me just because of that alone. Mark Canha. He's a fun card. Definitely a bit platoony, though. I'd consider running him on the bench as a pinch hitter, but I just can't justify putting him in the outfield with that 67 reaction or fielding or the 66 speed, so he's going to be another C tier bat. Curtis Granderson. He's got a fun power hitter type build, but unfortunately with his swing, I just need a little bit more contact or vision, one of the two. It's just too hard to time up sometimes. So for me, he's going to be another C tier guy. Stan the Man Musial. Unfortunately, his fielding and speed are unserviceable, but man, that offense plays. 101 vision, 100 contacts, 81 power versus righties. It will play, but that fielding and speed does not. So D tier. Duke Snyder, same story for the most part. Platoony guy, too slow, so he's going to be D tier as well. Cody Bellinger can hit lefties pretty well, actually, which is nice. Got that contact. Unfortunately, he's a contact hitter type versus lefties, which means you have to really get under and pull it, which is a bit of a challenge. So for me, that is going to put him in the B tier. But overall, he's not actually that poorly built, but lower speed, lower fielding. He's just a solid B tier guy. All right, we got an interesting one here. PCA's 89. The offense just really isn't there, but people are really successful with him bunting, which hurts my soul, but I can't deny it. He's got the speed. If you lay one down, you're probably safe. You just have to rely on the RNG of actually laying one down. So, well, I don't love it. I do have to put him in the A tier because between that and the max defense and speed and stealing, he is a weapon. So I can't deny it. He is A tier. Now, PCA's live series is a little bit worse and cannot bunt. So this card is just C tier. Willie Mays. This was cool because we got him for free if you played towards the end of MLB 24 and got your now and later packs into the now and later program, which was a cool idea. I love it. Unfortunately, it's a Willie Mays card, so he can't turn on inside sinkers to save his life. So 76 speed and that fielding is, you know, great and all, but he just can't hit. So good luck. He's a C tier bat. Roman Anthony. Nice animated card art and solid defense and speed. The vision, unfortunately, is a little bit suspect for me, so I'm going to have to put him in the B tier. Walker Jenkins, another guy with the pretty animated card art. Loving the theme here. This card's got better vision, and more well-rounded offensive attributes. I actually really loved this card. He hit really well for me, but once I got up to GOAT, he just started to struggle. So I'm gonna put him at the top of B tier because at this point in the year, he's gonna struggle, but he's really not a bad option. He's a really great budget guy. Well, because he's free. Jackson Merrill, one of the guys that just gives you clinical depression when you pull him out of a standard pack. He just can't hit a lefty to save his life, which is weird because he can in real life. So maybe an investment guy, although I don't like investing in diamonds, but overall, solid guy IRL in this game. He can't hit water if he fell out of a boat. So he's going to be in the C tier. Preston Wilson has a decent build, nice reverse splits, which will make him serviceable against the righties, but the contact versus left is just too low in my opinion, which is what you're going to get out of an 85 at this point in the year. So another C tier kind of bat. He can field, but his hitting is going to be really hit or miss. Chandler Simpson is going to be a weapon on the base paths and in the outfield with that reaction and speed. So he's actually going to be a fun guy to kind of use. So I'm willing to put him all the way up into B tier, but nothing above that. Itchy Rashburn, definitely serviceable in the outfield with that speed and defense, and the contact and clutch will play along with the vision. Overall, he's actually not that bad of a card. I know he's a bit of a meme in the community at this point, but considering it's dead red, if you get an inside fastball, you can pull it out with him, which is not too bad. So I would actually consider him another B tier option. Rounding out the list, we have Max Clark, and he was great day one. The defense was incredibly valuable in center field, but his hitting is just starting to get phased out at this point with the low vision, 75 contact versus righties. At least again, it's reverse splits, so it's a little more helpful, but it's just a bit too much of a challenge to fit him in the lineup at this point. So he's going to fall all the way down into B tier. So here's our center field tier list. Obviously, if you have Beltran, put him in center field and do not question it for pretty much the rest of the year, to be honest. Then take some of these A tier guys and you could use them in the corners if you don't like the guys on the corner outfield tier lists. Anyone in B tier at this point is going to be kind of a challenge to use, but definitely serviceable if you're good with their swings. So starting off the right fielders, we've got this Giancarlo / Mike Stanton early in his career on the Marlins. He's got good enough speed if you really love Stanton cards to put him in the outfield. That reaction really does help, so he'll get those good first steps, especially once you get him up to parallel 2. I don't hate it. I don't love it though. The 45 vision is really a challenge. So is the 80 clutch. He's, I'd say, an A tier card, but there are just better options. His now teammate Aaron Judge is absolutely disgusting offensively until you see he has 51 vision. And with him being 6'7", this is a bit of a challenge. That being said, the offensive attributes are also insane. If you see today, he has 126 power for me. It goes down to 125, but he has crazy power, and that is nothing to scoff at. Unfortunately, he has 47 speed and 45 reaction, which is insulting to a gold glove outfielder like Aaron Judge. So he is going to have to go into the D tier, and it gives me depression. Kyle Stowers. He got this card for hitting 2 multi-home run games in 3 days. And he has 58 power. Just on principle, he's going in D tier because this is an insult. Corbin Carroll. He's free if you do all of the April Spotlight programs, and his vision and power versus lefties are definitely a little suspect, but with his swing and dead red, it will play. So with 84 reaction, 84 fielding, 99 speed, he's gonna sneak into S tier for me, which is gonna be controversial, but I think he barely sneaks in. So I'm willing to put him there. Tatis, another great fielder. He's got reverse splits, so hitting a lefty is going to be a bit of a challenge, but if you get him on an inside edge day versus lefties, he's definitely worth a shot because he plays up really high with inside edge. So if you're good with Tatis swings, and I know not everyone is because he holds his leg up for a long time, I definitely say he's worth a shot, but he's not going to crack S tier. He's going to be down in the A tier with Giancarlo Stanton. Paul O'Neill. Actually a disgusting offensive card. Unfortunately, 57 speed is just not going to be enough in the outfield. You cannot overvalue outfield defense in this game. It is incredibly valuable, especially with how hard it is to hit on the higher difficulties right now. So if you can save yourself from giving up a hit or two here or there, it changes the entire complexity of the game. So Sadly, despite this magnificent offensive weapon we have in Paul O'Neill, 57 speed pushes him down into C tier. Christian Yelich is a platoon bat with serviceable defense and speed, but the vision is really painful, so he's also going to fall into C tier with Paul O'Neill. Jose Bautista is a fun card, but 51 speed is just not going to get it done in the outfield for me, so I'm going to put him into the D tier. Mike Trout. God, I love Trout cards, but the contact is a bit of a challenge. At least they've made it so sliders are not so much of a weapon on GOAT, so maybe he'll be okay, but the 63 reaction just is going to push him down into the A tier. Juan Soto is actually really solid and well built, but unfortunately he's just a bit too slow to play in the outfield. So despite these magnificent offensive attributes, he is going to fall into the D tier. Samuel Sosa cannot hit a righty to save his life and does not have the vision to even bail him out. So combine that with 60 speed, 75 clutch, he's just going to be a C tier bat. Griffin Conine is really well-rounded offensively, but unfortunately is just a bit too slow. So like Sosa, he's going to be in the C tier. Larry Walker is really cool and has a nice personality, but can't hit a lefty to save his life and is really slow. So also is going to be a D tier bat. Babe Ruth really can swing it, but 36 speed, you could probably run to McDonald's, get a hamburger, come back to the field, and still be able to catch more baseballs than Babe Ruth could if there's a ball in the gap. So to D tier he goes. Hank Aaron, he's got good contact. The power's a little suspect. At least he's got good vision and clutch, but 64 speed and his swing are just going to make this card a C tier bat for me. There are better cards. There are worse cards. I just can't ever see myself using this guy. Mike Yastrzemski hit a home run at his 56 power. He's got 58 speed, and at least his fielding and reaction will help him get this on baseballs, but he's just going to be another C tier guy for me. And upon some reflection looking at this C tier, I think we can move Paul O'Neill up to the B tier. Dylan Cruz is cool, has definitely serviceable offense and incredible defense. So even at this point in the year, I wouldn't hate putting him in a corner outfield position just for the lockdown defense. You might get a hit out of him every game or two, which is not terrible on GOAT, but it's definitely a bit of a challenge with his offense at this point, so I'm going to also put him in B tier. McCutchen has really great offensive attributes as well, but unfortunately his fielding and defense are just not going to get the job done, so he's also going to fall down into the C tier. Kyle Tucker, he's another great bat, but with 35 speed, he's like just going to fall into this D tier category where it's players I just would never put in the outfield, even if they had max hitting. Jorge Soler has 55 speed and actually really great hitting attributes. He's able to turn on the ball well, so that 79 contact versus right will still play. So I'm going to put him into the B tier, but there are certainly better options than this guy. But if you square one up with him, it will fly. Tony Oliva has no power versus lefties and not good enough speed in my opinion, so he is just going to be a C tier kind of guy. He can hit righties, but not that great. Rap Dixon plays everywhere, great speed, great defense, solid card overall. I'd put him in B tier just for this versatility and his defensive prowess, but he's definitely not the best option out there. Jason Hayward is a platoon bat who cannot field, so he is going to go into D tier. Seiya Suzuki has some serviceable contact and good enough speed and reaction to get some play, but the 50 vision is a bit of a challenge. So for me, he is going to be like on that fringe line between B tier and C tier, but I'm going to put him into the C tier. Jake Mangum actually plays a really good outfield with the 80s fielding and speed. He's got good enough contact, good enough vision, good enough clutch. For me, he's going to be an A tier card just because of that switch hitting versatility. Vlad Senior. They got him up to 61 speed, which is nice, and he's got a great swing, so it makes up for that contact versus right, but the 71 clutch is then harder to overcome. So unfortunately, as much as I love a good Vlad Senior, this one is not it. So he's going to be a C tier bat. Corbin Carroll's live series does not get the job done for me. He's similar to his lightning card, but he's just not there. He's just not good enough. So for me, he's going to be a B tier guy just because of his defense. Zach Fiend. He's got solid offense, solid defense, pretty well-rounded card except for the vision, but that's going to drop him all the way down to C tier for me. Bobby Abreu is going to be a bit of a challenge in the outfield because of that 64 reaction, sadly, but his offense isn't terrible if you can overlook the power versus lefties, because he's got dead red and breaking ball hitter. So he's gonna sneak into B tier, but barely, just barely. Acuna cannot field, cannot run, but he can hit. So it pains me to say this, but Acuna is only a C tier bat, which just feels crazy. Reggie Sanders, I'll be honest, I forgot this card existed. But his contact versus righties is just nothing to write home about. So while he's got serviceable outfield defense and some good stats versus lefties, he's going to be a platoon bat at best. So he falls into the C tier. So here is our right field tier list. Corbin's really the only guy I love. I would give Stanton a shot, but his defense scares me. I would probably lean towards using Trout over Stanton, being honest. If you have Corbin, I'd use him, or you could use Griffey if you're not using him in center field. And by the way, the secondary penalty thing for center fielders going to the corners does not work the same way for corners going to center if they don't have that secondary. Real quick for DH, there aren't any diamond DH primaries. So as far as DHs go, I would use one of these 11 guys. I'm running Santana, as you can see, but any of these guys would really work. Look at them in this order and get the first one that you can acquire, but any of them are good options. Use who fits best for your lineup that you can afford. And that's going to wrap it up for today's tier list. If you like this content, make sure to leave a comment, like, and subscribe, and let me know what you want to see next out of a video. If you're not following the Twitch already, make sure you do. The link's down in the description. And again, big shout out to ShowZone, sponsor of today's video. They are genuinely my favorite DD companion tool, and I have been using them since 2022 and have no plans to stop anytime soon. So check them out. The link's in the description. And if you sign up for one of their premium subscriptions, you get 10% off using my code. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoy one of these suggested videos here, and I will see you guys soon. Peace.